It's not what he said, you ignorant wretch. Spanish is worse than your English.
The Armchair Quarterback Show. Talking about things that'll piss you off. Things that'll make you think. Things that'll make you laugh. Things
Spanish
all throughout the sports world. The Armchair Quarterback Show. Weekdays. Drive time. Talking about things.
Things. Like a kiss in the dark.
Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. It's easy to follow, and you'll see results in your first week. Just text BURN to 323232. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat burning mode. Text BURN to 323232 right now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes. That's right, 50% off a month of meals and 50% off a month of shakes with probiotics to help support your immune system. Just text BURN to 323232 right now. There's even a money-back guarantee. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Just text BURN to 323232. That's BURN to 323232.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out.
Randy Moss has caught 3 touchdown passes. What a performance.
I didn't even see the ball. I didn't. The sun coming down that way. I seen a black spot at the last minute. So it was either a ball or a bird. So catch the black spot.
CBS Sports Radio, your home for all things sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, coast to coast. Great sports talk expected here. CBS Sports Radio.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Find us on Facebook today.
Cars from all over America come to find a new home in Florida, just like you. I moved here after the draft. Football. I noticed there was one thing missing from this great town: a celebrity-endorsed used car shop. That's why I founded BJ's Used Autos. Every one of these beauties is freshly painted. They look brand new. We have new models coming in every morning, usually around 2 a.m. We can get you anything. And if you see a car of your dreams, tell us. We can acquire it for you. I've taken the skills I've learned as a pro football player to the used car business. Smash, grab, and run like hell. I'm tackling low prices with hot cars.
You'll do anything to stay healthy. So isn't it time to think about your water? Aquasana water filters remove contaminants other filters don't, like lead, bacteria, viruses, and pesticides. Up to 99% of 88 contaminants, while leaving vital minerals you need like potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Visit waterfilter.com now and use promo code RADIO to get 50% off. That's waterfilter.com, promo code RADIO for pure, delicious water and the ultimate peace of mind. Aquasana, better water, better you.
This is Jim Rome. Join me in the jungle for your phone calls and the biggest names in sports. Stop by weekdays, noon until 3 Eastern, 9 to noon Pacific.
Why is there a pancake in the silverware drawer?
I mean, why is there silverware in the pancake drawer?
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
But what the hell, boy?
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's morning.
Yes, and what a lovely morning.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just got this game, Do or Drink, on Amazon, but we're playing with barbecue shots. Let's go. DM your crush. Who we text? Is that Meredith from The Office? She's bad, bro. Dude, I can't do it. That's too hard. Shot. Hello? Hey, I miss you. You maybe You want to get back together?
Sammy, are you kidding? You have the smallest...
Stop it. Stop. Just... I don't... It's a fun game, but, like, it's hard.
Armchair. CBS Sports Radio. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks, CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Wednesday, baseball gets rolling at 1:15 Eastern. The Diamondbacks and Cardinals. Corbin Martin and his 10.69 ERA will try to get Arizona back on the right track. At 2:10 Eastern, the Cubs and Brewers. Corbin Burns and Jake Arrieta clash on the mound. At 4:05, you got the Rays and Nats. Michael Wacha and John Lester. 7:05, Angels-Yankees. Shohei Ohtani in the Bronx up against Domingo Germán. At 7:10, Royals and Red Sox, Mike Minor versus Martin Perez. Taijuan Walker's on the hill for the New York Mets in game number 2 of the New York-Atlanta series. Other games on the docket, Pirates and Rockies at 3:10, Marlins and Phillies 7:05, Poteet and Aaron Nola collide. Mariners and Blue Jays at 7:07. Justin Sheffield is expected to take the mound. Tigers and Indians at 7:10, and the Padres and Reds, Musgrove and Gutierrez. While the Orioles are in Houston, Matt Harvey and Luis Garcia. Twins and White Sox at 8:10 Eastern, Jose Barrios and Carlos Rodon. And the nightcap, Rangers, A's, Kobe Allard and his 3.33 ERA battles Chris Bassett. NBA Western Conference Finals, Suns and Clippers, as Los Angeles is fighting for a game number 7. And in the Stanley Cup Finals, 8 Eastern on NBC Sports Network, the Montreal Canadiens in game number 2 are in Tampa Bay to take on the Lightning. In case you missed it, Serena Williams retired from her first-round match at Wimbledon on Tuesday against Alexandra Sasnovich. Holding a 3-1 lead in the first set, Williams slipped and needed to take an injury timeout at the game's conclusion to receive treatment. She returned to the court, but her movement was visibly limited. Williams was serving in the 5th game at center court when she lost her footing near the baseline while hitting a forehand. She winced and stepped gingerly between points, drowning in tears as the crowd tried to egg her on. Williams played a few more points and then conceded defeat. The match ended at 3-3 in the first set. Williams refused to talk to the media after her loss, but did put this out on Instagram. Quote, "I was heartbroken to have to withdraw today after injuring my right leg. My love and gratitude are with the fans and the team who make being on center court so meaningful. Feeling extraordinary warmth and support of the crowd today when I walked on and off. The court meant the world to me." Williams entered the tournament in search for her 24th major title that would tie her with Margaret Court for the most ever in women's tennis. And that's your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Stay tuned for the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast. Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Sean O'Toole.
Good morning, Mr. Mac McGee. And I don't know much, but I know one thing. If you thought yesterday was the day I needed to see a tweet from Trevor Bauer's attorney with full details of his extracurricular activities outside of the mound, you're wrong. I didn't need to see that. Make that stop. Go away with that.
I don't know what website you're on. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I don't know much, but I know one thing. Dude, I'm done with you, Snicker. I'm done. I haven't been defending you, but if I had, I would have retired from it. That was absolutely atrocious. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Hey, Chris, aren't you coming in?
Can I swim with my shirt on?
Oh, you can't swim with your shirt on. Wait a second. What are you hiding under your shirt? Do you have bruises? Did somebody hit you? Lois, what did you do to my son?
Well, you keep your voice down. You're embarrassing him. Chris, why don't you want to take your shirt off?
'Cause I'm fat.
Oh, honey, no one thinks you're fat.
I'm sorry, sir. You can't park your van on the diving board.
This is my son.
Oh, my apologies.
Hey, Tom, he's not a van. He's just a fat kid.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man.
Hey, howdy, hi, top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. Mac McGee and Sean O'Toole. Sean, how the hell are you?
You know, I'd be better man, it's tough watch last night for Braves fans. It's, you know, from the joke that popped into my head was the only from blank to blank that's worse than from Matzik to Minter is probably from Justin to Kelly when American Idol started. It's just, I can't take it anymore, man. It's tough.
It's pathetic. It's by the way, Brian says hi, Shawnee Poo Wednesday.
Yeah, hi. Glad he's listening and watching as always.
I figured there's a bit of a man crush there going on. That
I've never been called Shawnee Poo before, so that's something.
Not even by your wife. So there you go.
No, that's not a nickname. No.
I'm waiting for her to stick her head in the picture. Go, what? What's that?
She's at work. That won't happen.
So real short, real quick for people who didn't catch the game last night. Essentially what happened, Brian Snicker leaves Morton in after going 6 shutout innings.
Mm-hmm.
He gets in trouble in the top of the 7th inning. Mm-hmm. Never gets an out, by the way.
Nope.
And he gets one guy on. He doesn't go to the pen. He gets 2 guys on. He doesn't go to the pen. Now there's 2 on, nobody out. And James McCann. Yeah, James McCann of the Mets slams one over the fence and makes it a 3-3 game. Then he goes and gets a struggling Minter who should not be in a high leverage situation, which I'm sorry, but when you're playing in late June against your division leader, that is a high leverage situation, especially when you have to face Taijuan Walker and DeGrom the next 2 days.
Yep.
And he brings in Minter, who at this point is bad. Look, I think Minter can turn it around. We saw how great he was last year. He's just not pitching well right now. He just shouldn't be in the height. So then he gives up the run. And then, look, credit to the Mets. Their bullpen played incredible baseball after the Braves got those 3 runs. But now you sit 5.5 games out of first. And I'm telling you right now, they're a couple of losses away to be in sell mode. This is do or die if there's ever been do or die today, because you're going to face DeGrom tomorrow, and that's a crapshoot. Because even though you've got a good pitching matchup because Smiley's pitched well, you're not going to get many runs. So you're hoping to get DeGrom out of the game by the 6th or 7th inning and get to their bullpen. And maybe you could make some dents in that bullpen again today where they're exhausted by game 3. But you're at home and a division favorite going into the season. These are games you should be winning. And I put it all on Snicker. Every damn bit of
it. I'll do you one better. It's not, your statement was it's sell mode pretty soon. I mean, they're going to be in sell mode on Friday, because if they lose the next 2 games, that's a wrap. It's over, son. I mean, you're in a hole that you may not be able to crawl out of, because like you said, I think it was 2 weeks ago, you would have to basically play, 700 ball and hope that the teams in front of you play 500 ball. And I don't know if anybody's paying attention to what's going on in Washington, aside from you and me, but Kyle Schwarber is seeing watermelons up there. He's Gallagher.
Well, the whole team is white hot right now.
Yeah, whole team's white hot, and they're coming at the Mets. They're going to lead the Braves in 3rd.
Right. and they're playing really good baseball. They know they have to win the division. Everybody knows that there's a very good chance the division winner is going to be the only playoff team coming out of the East this year. And you look at this, Sean, too. This is why this was such a big series. If they could have made it out alive, Marlins, Pirates, Marlins, the next 3 series for Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I went over this in Braves country yesterday. Washington is playing Tampa, Dodgers, at San Diego, at San Francisco before the All-Star. Okay.
See what they're made of.
The Mets are playing in Atlanta, and then they're at home against, they're at home because they're in the same city, but they're in the Bronx playing the Yankees. Then they're at home against the Brewers. Not going to be an easy task. They do finish off with the Pirates. The theory was the Braves could be within 2 or 3 games of first place going into the All-Star break.
Gotta get some wins.
But you can't.
That was a win.
You can't keep losing to your division rival in this manner. If that would have happened in the Grom game, and I would have said, whatever, we're playing with house money because we should have been up 2 games to none in the series, 1-1 at the worst, right? But now it makes today absolutely must win. Max Fried comes back, and away we go. All right, we'll get off the Braves. Let's go ahead and dive into the first quarter. One thing I do want to talk about, though, speaking of the rest of Major League Baseball, before we switch gears and go into football, with Washington being red hot, okay? The Brewers are playing incredible baseball.
Very well.
The Cubs are now 5 games behind the Brewers. I'm like, how did I blink? Because we do a Chicago baseball show every single Saturday, and I feel like
they were in first.
I felt like the Cubs were in first 4 days ago, but evidently they weren't because they're 5 games out of first now. It's unbelievable. They were actually tied for first when we did the show on Saturday. So they've lost. No, actually, I think they were a game behind. They've now lost 5 in a row, but the Brewers break them up 7 in a row, which means they'll cool off by the time they play the Mets. We know how that's going to work. There's a lot going on in Major League Baseball. Won't be able to get to it all today, but I want to shift gears a little bit into the American League because the New York Yankees finally got a win last night. They're 7.5 out of first place. You talk about a team that has got to get their act together. And you don't see them in sell mode very often, but they may very well be in sell mode. They may very well be. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't want to jump in and talk over you, but when you were like the Braves are in, panic mode and the Mets are about to go play the Yankees, I'm like, I can't remember a time, at least not in the recent history, where the Mets have been in control of their division. And Yankees fans are on one. You listen to New York sports talk radio, and I really don't.
Hey, this morning,
But listen, I've got social media, so I see the chatter.
All they want to talk about was the Mets this morning, by the way. I didn't hear a peep about the Yankees. Even though they won, they're like, Yankees won. And by the way, the Mets look really good. And that station carries Yankee baseball. That tells you something.
Yeah, their fans are in. It's every day. I'm seeing a quote from Cashman, or I'm seeing a quote from Boone, or I'm a really big fan of Ken Rosenthal. He writes for The Athletic. He has a weekly podcast. I think he's had a question or 2 every Monday that he's answered about what do the Yankees do? Is Boone coming back? Is Cashman coming back? And it's just like, look, people who are 19 years old, 20 years old that are baseball fans, they've only seen the Yankees win that one title. Like, they don't remember the 90s and the 60s, So
by the way, you don't have to explain to anyone who Ken Rosenthal is. Every time you say his name, like, oh, by the way, he works in baseball. Ken Rosenthal's the biggest name in baseball.
Okay.
As far as reporters,
I'm sorry, I didn't.
And then Passon's way down here, and then I don't know who the hell else is next, right?
I didn't mean next week. Next week I'll do a bit, and I'll start the show with, "Hey, I saw this movie last night, Jaws. Have you heard of the Spielberg guy?" Well,
exactly.
Let's do that.
We're getting into football season. This guy, Adam Schefter, who works for ESPN, he says, anyways, let's move on to football because we got some college football to get to go through today, and I'm a little excited because we're getting more into these capsules and we're just basically doing predictions for these teams. Now, starting next week is when it gets really fun. I won't tell people what teams we're doing then, but every Wednesday, Sean, it's going to get more exciting than what we're doing today. I promise you. Okay.
You haven't even told me. So, I mean, keep the suspense. It'll be fun.
Well, no, I texted it to you. Boston College, obviously, because their picture is on here. So we'll start off with them. We'll start off with the Boston College Golden Eagles, and they are. Let me pull up. I've got up here the over unders. We won't do deep dives. I didn't expect us to go break down the third string fullback for the Boston College Golden Eagles. But what I really wanted to look at was wins. Over under wins. So we're doing Boston College today. We'll probably dabble in Pittsburgh because I don't really have any room for them anywhere else. So we might as well hit them up while I got the page up. And then we're doing UCLA Bruins. So if you don't have that information in front of you, give you time to pull it up. But looking at Boston College, they were a team that I felt like took big strides last year. Big strides. And
they're frisky.
Yeah. Your favorite word.
I love that word.
We've got to get you an Armchair Quarterback shirt that says frisky on it. But when you look at Boston College going into this year, okay, and obviously it's going to start with the quarterback position with I believe he pronounces his name Jerkovich, Phil Jerkovich. He was the one that went into Clemson and gave them all that they wanted and damn near beat them. Granted, Trevor Lawrence wasn't playing, but still Clemson had to come from behind rally. I want to say the score was somewhere in the mid 30s. And so this was a Boston College team that kind of changed their personality, for lack of a better word. They became an offensive minded team last year. For years, they were run the ball, pound the ball. This is where AJ Dillon came from. This is, this is where their cornerstone was nothing but defense and running the ball. Now they've opened it up under new leadership. Jeff Haley, Hafley came in last year, and he has changed the offense. So the over under for the Boston College Golden Eagles is 7 wins this year. And what's really strange is that normally these over unders that I see have a half. It's like 7.5 or 6, but it's 7. Now you've got Colgate, UMass, Temple, which I think are give me's on the docket, right?
Mm-hmm.
Temple can be a pain in the ass, but if you're going to get 7 wins, you better win those. They go to Syracuse. They go to Georgia Tech, and they're at home against Florida State. And those are the games those are the 6 games that they are going to be favored at the beginning of the year. They're on the road to Clemson, to Louisville. They're at home against Missouri, NC State, Virginia Tech, Wake Forest. I think they get to at least 7 wins. I think Boston College could be an 8-4 team.
I don't disagree in any way, shape, or form. Hafley was, somebody I knew well because he was the defensive coordinator at Ohio State. So that's his lineage, and he came off of that, that Urban Meyer family tree. And at a school like Boston College, just like what, Dino Babers does at Syracuse, you kind of have to find a gimmick, right? You have to find some kind of competitive advantage when you're, in a conference that has Clemson and Florida State and the teams that they have at the top that are just going to perennially beat you by 50 if you don't. I believe they can get to 8 wins this year. I'm not going to say the word again because we're going to get t-shirts made, I guess, but they were one of my fun little teams to watch at 11 a.m. They were on a lot of 11 a.m. ESPN games in 2020. And I would expect more of that this year because it's not exactly like they're, the prize of that conference. But you hit the nail on the head. I mean, even going back to when they had Matt Ryan, they were always kind of a play action heavy offense, ran the ball a lot. And he just happened to be a great quarterback. I love them for getting 7 wins. Athlon has them, in the 40s, which I think is about an accurate representation to start the season. But I think Hafley's trying to build something good. So give me the over. I actually think this could be the year they get to 8.
They are, in my opinion, the most exciting brand of Boston college football since Doug Flutie in '84. And and I just think it's going to be wide open. I'm very, very bullish on the on Boston College this year. I think they at least get 7, and I'm looking more at 8 and 4 because I don't think Florida State's going to go in there and beat them unless. And I do know that he's doing a great job on the recruiting trail, but as far as what happening on the field, Florida State looked terrible last year. I have to give every first-year coach a pass because
for last year,
right, because all the situations to try to build a team. But unless Florida State just absolutely shocks the hell out of me, I think I can see a give me 6. And honestly, when they have up there, and what it is that they have experts on CBS that are saying these are wins or these are losses. This is what we think, right? I don't think at home against Wake Forest is a gimme loss. I don't think at home against NC State, at home against Virginia Tech are necessary losses. And at Louisville is a and look, I don't think Missouri is necessarily going to go in to Boston College and just mop the floor with them. Missouri can have good teams. This isn't one of the better Missouri teams. So it's very interesting. So both of us like the over on that. Now here, real quick, we'll hit Pittsburgh and then we'll go to UCLA. Their over-under is 7 wins, which to me is surprising because they lost their quarterback.
Yeah.
And they have – I'm taking the under on this, and I'll tell you why. The wins that they're saying they have, 3 of them I question. At home against Miami, if they don't have the offense, how are they going to keep up with Derek King?
They're not.
At Tennessee, that's a win. I don't know.
The fighting Heupels, go get them.
I think that's. Look, I think could they win? Sure. Will they win? I can't check mark that. And then what was the other one? Oh, at Duke and at home against North Carolina. Really?
How are they beating North Carolina?
I don't know how the hell they're beating North Carolina.
They still have Sam Howell, right? I mean,
I guess it's just because it's in Pittsburgh, but
But why? Yeah, I don't get
might
that
be
one.
Pittsburgh, but it's not. it's not the Steelers.
It's not the Steelers. It's the Panthers.
Their give-me losses are at Georgia Tech, at Virginia Tech, and at home against Clemson. According to this, I think 7 wins is very, very. I'm thinking 6. Maybe
I'm struggling to find 5. How do you get to 6?
It's really going to depend to me on what they get out of that offense, because when you take away a quarterback that started for 3 years on your team and was basically the heart and soul of that offense, which, by the way, was not the best offense on the planet. I was just always a big fan of not just the way he played, but I liked the Pittsburgh style of football. They've got Kenny Pickett coming back. Is Kenny Pickett coming back? Did he opt to come back? I thought he left.
I thought he left too.
So is he a 7-year senior?
All
right. Maybe. All right. If he decided to come back, maybe he didn't get drafted and that's why he's coming back. I thought he was done.
Yeah, despite indications he was going to enter the NFL draft, Kenny Pickett tweeted that he will return to the Panthers in 2021. That's from December. So that's like the last news article on him.
So he evidently has. All right, so retract everything else. I just assumed he left because they gave him an emotional goodbye on senior day.
Yep.
You got to walk that back. Whoops.
We're gonna do it again.
Fair enough. I still think. I still think. I don't see him beating North Carolina.
I don't see him beating North Carolina. Look, we'll do their projection later. I'm a huge Dino Babers guy, man. He's always got a team that shows up to compete.
He sucked
every Saturday. And at Syracuse, like I don't think that's a gimme either. I mean, Virginia Tech's kind of in a tough decline since Beamer left, so we'll see what they can come back and do. They might be at the bottom of the ACC looking up, with some of the other worst teams. But yeah, 6 is max for me. I know we got one more to do, so we'll move on.
Okay, let's go ahead and hit that up. So UCLA, I'm gonna pull up what their Pac-12 win totals are right now, and looking at UCLA, their over/under is 7. Excuse me. All right, so you got 7 wins is what their over/under is. Now, if we look at UCLA's schedule,
pretty favorable.
It is favorable, and UCLA is also bringing back their senior quarterback, Dorian Thompson Robinson, which DTR can put up some points. I mean, he's along the line with Kenny Pickett. I thought he was gone too, but this one I actually read last night. I dove into Pittsburgh as we were talking. I haven't read much up on Pittsburgh, so I that caught me by surprise. But I knew DTR was coming back. But he's not really an NFL prospect type of quarterback. No. He's a solid college quarterback. So I get where he's coming. But I'm telling you, when they went pre-combine, Pickett was always being talked about. And I remember when we were doing the breakdowns, I just missed his tweet. I remember thinking to myself, why isn't Pickett up higher? So
right.
Now I know. Wasn't freaking playing. But anyways, the point being, we're now sitting at UCLA and taking a look at their schedule. What's your first thought on it?
Yeah, my first thought is the favorability of it. Now, you mentioned the roster. They do return DTR. They're getting a transfer from Michigan to possibly be their starting running back in Zach Charbonnet. That was a guy that I really liked. There just weren't enough carries for him in that backfield because Harbaugh likes to have 19 running backs. So I understand why he would transfer to UCLA. He's taken over, for a running back core that didn't do well last year. But on defense, they're returning every starter but one. And their defense was actually pretty decent last year. So I think it can be even better. I look at their schedule, and the first thing that jumps out at me is they're going to be tested right off the bat. They're starting with Hawaii and LSU. We'll see if Coach O's got it figured out with all the problems they had last year. But if they don't, we know Chip Kelly's always got some tricks up his sleeve. He's a guy who loves to pull the Joker card and take some games early in the year. I mean, they could be 4-0, heading into a game against Arizona State that's at home, right? They have Oregon at home, definitely the toughest game on their schedule. They go at Utah the next week. I don't think they get both of them.
You say 4-0. You think that?
I think they can.
I know
would
but
I put money on it? No. I think UCLA would be a 10-point.
That I don't know if people I mentioned it like in the sports flash, and I think I talked about it on the Take Me Out to the Ball game today. But LSU just lost their left tackle. He's hitting the transfer portal, so that's going to be huge. But man,
you can't underrate their problems at quarterback last year. Like they had
but they're athletes compared to UCLA.
Athletes, yeah, absolutely, I agree. But LSU cross country, all that stuff, whatever. I'm just saying, if they're 2-0, if they get by LSU. Now you're looking at 4-0 playing Arizona State at home.
I don't mean to catch off, but what's going to be a shock to the system, Sean, is going up against Hawaii the week one, and they go to play in LSU the next week. I mean, wait a minute, these guys.
No, the LSU game's at home. It's in the Rose Bowl.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, I got you.
They're going up against Hawaii. Both games are at home. They go up against Hawaii, and then
they got to play LSU.
Week, they're like, right. This is not the sport we were playing last week. What is it?
Yeah, so at an over under of 7, I'm going to take the over just because I like them this year. I really do. Their toughest games, in my opinion, are the at Utah game, the Oregon game, but it's at home, and the USC game is kind of always nominally at home because it's in LA. And even Colorado, who's someone we like a lot, you and me both. That game's in the Rose Bowl too. Give me the over. I think Chip gets to 8 wins. How he gets there may not be how I'm laying it out, but
I would have to stay away from it because if it was 7.5, I would take the under. If it was 6.5, I'd take the over. I really see them right at 7 because I don't believe they're going to beat USC, Oregon, Washington, or at Utah. And those are four losses in the last 5 games of the season, possibly. The Stanford game concerns me. It's in Stanford. That's never an easy place to win. And then, of course, LSU. So that's 6 games that I'm concerned. And Colorado played better football last year than most people expected. So there's 7 games, along with Arizona State is 8. There's 8 games that I could see them losing, but are they going to lose all of them? Of course not. But, that's a tough one. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, NHL Stanley Cup playoff game number 2 is tonight, and we got the NBA playoffs. We'll be back in a flash on the Armchair Quarterbacks. You're listening to CBS Sports Radio and YouTube Live. Please like and share our show today.
You say your name right now.
Denise?
I don't return fruit. Fruit's a gamble. I know that going in.
Are you a gun enthusiast? Love to shop for guns, but are also looking for friendly service? Well, you're in luck. Top Gun Supply is the friendly gun shop. Staff is very knowledgeable, happy to see you when you walk through the door, and can assist you with all your gun shopping needs. Top Gun Supply stocks a wide range of firearms, such as Ruger, Beretta, 6 Sauer, HK, and LWRC. So stop on by at Top Gun Supply. Top Gun Supply, the friendly gun shop, a proud sponsor of the Armchair Quarterbacks. Armchair Quarterback Radio is AFC South country, all NFL season long.
They hand it off for Fournette. He's driving, and he's in for the touchdown. Wow!
Drive starts at the 1 and looking for a little breathing room, and they get that and plenty more. Derrick Henry still going. Stays in bounds. He might go. 99 yards for the touchdown. Unbelievable. 2nd and 10. Empty set. Walk downfield, and that is Hilton again. 1st and goal. Ebron, what a year for him. Eric Ebron, touchdown. Boom.
Slant caught, touchdown. Marquise Lee, and he punched the ball into the stands.
Deep, and he's got it. Keelan Cole, touchdown Jacksonville.
Stay locked in to the AFC South on Armchair Quarterback Radio.
World air quality is at an all-time low.
But hey, that doesn't mean you can't have a little fun. New from Mattel, it's the greenhouse gas gun. Do you hate the snowman next door? Use the greenhouse gas gun. Want to piss off an entire room full of tree huggers? Use the greenhouse gas gun. There is simply no end to the amount of fun and respiratory disease you can have with the greenhouse gas gun.
Armchair.
We are the Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
He only has 3 rings.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
The Armchair Quarterbacks got you covered. Don't miss a moment of Armchair Quarterbacks Masters Week.
Arnold Palmer is the Masters champion of 1960. He has birdied the last 2 holes, one of the greatest displays of courageous golf that anybody has ever seen any place.
Maybe. Yes, sir. There it is.
Can you believe it?
Nick Faldo. There it is. A win for the ages.
Is it his time?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow! In your life, have you seen anything like that?
Week-long coverage of the Masters here on Armchair Quarterbacks, CBS Sports Radio.
Stupid interview.
Hey, you're a member of the Buffalo Bills. How does it feel?
Well, it's a blessing. I want to thank God. Going to try to do my best. It's a great organization. And I'll say the last 80 guys said. So, yeah.
One more time around the sun, I take it, I'd run around this world rock and give it all I got.
Good morning. on this 30th day of June. We're almost in July, Sean. Can you believe it?
I mean, yeah, I actually can. Because I
feel like
I just keep getting
by.
older. I keep having a harder time walking. So yeah, time's definitely working.
Well, I'm comparing it to last year where I was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God we're almost halfway through this year.
I think this time last year we were doing you made me listen to the Highwaymen and I made you listen to Fiona Apple. So I'm glad to have sports. Please keep it together.
Yeah. Last year I was like, thank God we're halfway through this year. My wife's like, it's March. I'm like, oh, I mean, we're July officially tomorrow, right? So 4th of July weekend. You got big plans?
Not really. We moved from Franklin to Murfreesboro, so we moved into a house just a couple months back, and the neighborhood's going to do something. We're going to do a cookout in the middle of the day, and then we'll go somewhere and watch the fireworks. Good news is, when you live in Murfreesboro, you've got Shelbyville, you got Lebanon, you got Tullahoma. Like, there's plenty of places that don't really care about fireworks ordinances. So there will be plenty of things to see. So,
access to water this weekend?
We have access to water. I don't know if we're gonna partake of that. We might head out to Tullahoma. There's a pretty good outdoor water park there.
What is, like a community pool or something like that?
There is a very, very nice pool in Murfreesboro that's public. We don't have a community pool here in the neighborhood that we bought the house in. Gotcha. There is a outdoor water park in Tullahoma called Splash Island. Anybody who's in the area will get that reference. Pretty awesome. So we might check that out on Saturday. We'll see.
Good luck. That's gonna be that's gonna be like China over there, elbows to elbows.
Probably. It's hot though. I mean, it's like hot, not a lot of wind. So
just quit breathing.
Get off me.
Yeah. It reminds me of the old. Is it Tom Papa? One of those comedians where he's talking about, do we really need an ordinance to let me know that there's only like 140 people allowed in this pool or whatever, whatever the number is. How is that reflection? Your skin touching my skin. I forget how it goes. I've got it somewhere. It's probably been since last year that I played it. Okay. So we're going to get into the Stanley Cup here in a second, but I do want to get an NBA real quick. Because what the hell happened last night? I thought for sure that series was done when they said, well, Trae Young's not playing. And oh, by the way, I'm a Hawks fan. You're the first thing I'm saying this morning.
Do we need this guy?
If that dude don't play, tomorrow night, he's going to have to answer to me on why he's jumping up out of the bench and leaning and doing all this theatrics. Thought your foot hurt. What the hell is this? What is this? So that was the first thing I saw. I was like, I thought you were injured. This is some Kyrie Irving crap over here, right? Like, he's dancing a jig and everything and, doing the Mamba. And I'm like, really? Now, the big thing from this, if people didn't watch the game, Giannis got hurt in the third quarter, and I think he's going to be out for an extended period of time.
It did not look good. That was a hyperextension, and as somebody who's hyperextended an elbow once, it's tough, man. It doesn't go away overnight. Even I don't care how good your access to sports medicine is, and what kind of athlete you are. You pull those ligaments, a little too hard apart. You get a lot of tension. You get a lot of inflammation. That's when stuff tears. So even if he didn't tear anything, he's probably not playing in at least game 5.
Well, also, if you look at the replay of the injury, which I pulled it up and kind of went slow motion with it because I was curious. And so, yeah, you see the hyperextension of the leg, of the knee, but no one's talking about the fact, dude, his ankle buckled too.
Yeah.
Well, that can't be good. So, well, my knee's sprained, but at least my ankle's broken. It's like, what? I don't know. How's he going to play basketball? I don't know how he's going to be able to play. Look, even if there were somehow a way to get out past the Hawks, whoever's waiting for them on the other side, I think he's going to be I think they're in a bad way, which sucks because Of course, LeBron's going to claim his uncle. We didn't have enough rest and blah, blah, blah. Has nothing to do with the fact that some dude stepped on me and bent me sideways. You know, if I would have had 3 more weeks of rest, that I would have never gotten hurt on that play. Such a dope. But tonight, if the Suns don't win, that's going to go to a game 7. So I think they're in all alert mode. I haven't heard anything that would contrast the fact that Kawhi's not going to play.
No, I don't think we're going to see him again. I don't think we're going to see him again this year, even if the Clippers got out of the series and went to the finals.
Done? You think there's no way he plays?
It's he's as tough an athlete to read as any athlete we've ever had, because nothing comes out of his camp. He doesn't have a camp. He's got an uncle. Like it's him and his uncle, and those are the only people that are in the know with him. Allegedly, if you believe anything you see, Woj has made a few responses to the fact that there's just some discontent between him and the Clippers training staff on how close he is to being ready, whether it's a torn ACL or just a sprained ACL. But I'm sorry, anytime you say the word ACL, like you're not coming back for a while. That's not a 2-week injury. That's a 2-month injury. So
I don't. This is off the beaten path. I don't remember Dan Orlovsky playing for the Colts, but he's got a Colts helmet behind him. He's on TV right now. Oh man, that's some ammunition for Joey. I didn't know that knucklehead was a Colt. I remember him the line just because he stepped out of the end zone. That's about all I remember from his career. But I remember
Lions and Texans. I didn't realize he was a Colt, but that I think he was. Yeah, that does make sense.
He's got that front and center, like right behind him. It's Lions and Colts, and he's got the other teams behind him. I'm like, dude, really? Yeah. Why don't you quit shaming other franchises and just put up the fact you played in the NFL? Just do that. Put an ESPN sign behind you and an NFL sign behind you, and call it a day. Also, real quick before we jump into hockey, did you see what Josh Donaldson did when he hit the home run against Giolito last night?
I didn't. I got up though and had an alert on my phone about it. Hadn't had a chance to check it out yet. I guess he taunted him something about spider tack or something, and Gio didn't like it.
He crossed home plate after hitting a home run against Giolito, and as he's crossing home plate, he does this number, and you can kind of hear him say, "It's not sticky anymore. It's not sticky anymore." They asked Giolito afterwards about it. He was just kind of blew it off. He's like basically called it a classless move. By the way, the Twins lost again, so what the hell is Josh Donaldson talking about? Dumbest thing I saw, and I go into detail with it on the sorry, your snot snort is throwing me off.
Sorry.
It's just like echoing. The dumbest thing that I saw yesterday in the world of analytics was this guy trying, and I'll send you the copy of the tweet if I can find it. This guy basically trying to say that Austin Riley is one of the worst defensive third basemen in baseball.
Come on.
This is some weird stat. Yeah. And you know who you put in there with him as being a terrible defensive player at his position is Fernando Tatis.
Oh my God.
And I came so close. I caught myself. I did respond to it on Braves Country today, which will drop here in a little bit. But I came so close to tweeting him and saying, tell me you don't watch baseball, but not without telling me you don't watch baseball.
Right.
You think Austin Riley is not a good, and the thing that these metrics and a lot of these statistics that they throw out there never takes into consideration, especially with the defensive side of it. How often does he play a true third base anymore? That guy spends half his time playing shallow right field. So his answer was trade for Josh Donaldson, put Riley into left. And so you're going to have him play out the outfield, which he evidently is getting bad numbers because that's where he's playing right now, because he only plays third base very rarely. It's usually Dansby Swanson over there trying to play goalie, and you got 3 guys standing up against each other on the other side of the infield, because that's all the Braves do is shift. They say they're not one of the highest shifting teams. I don't think they know what shifting means. Because I'm sorry, just because your second baseman is technically on the side of second base, they don't consider that a shift. That's a shift. If your second baseman isn't in between the bag and the first baseman, that's a shift. Anyways, We can
right.
move.
You've moved him. I can't even respond to that in a competent way. If you want to put Austin Riley in left field, that's fine. Do it to bring up Arcia, which I've texted you about 15 times because this dude's burning Gwinnett down like he's General Sherman.
Put Arcia in left field. Riley is a phenomenal third baseman. He's only getting better.
He is a phenomenal third baseman. I'm just making the point.
Plays. Yeah, he makes incredible plays. But this is a dope that just flat out tells me you don't want. But he's got a Braves following. Oh, this Braves Twitter, we love him, and they squawk him. He's so smart. He's an idiot. He's a flat out idiot. And so, anyways, watch the damn game. Okay, NHL. Rays. That's not right. Lightning.
Getting your Tampa's confused.
Well, I just saw a flash of freaking what's his name? Schwarber slamming one out of the building again. By the way, there was a tweet out last night. Rich Hill said, I was tipping my pitches, but I got it figured out. And everyone was like, yeah, that's good. You lost it. You didn't figure it out fast enough. You have 3 home runs before you figured out you were tipping your pitches. All right. But the Lightning, game 1, they dominated game 1, but we've seen this from the Canadians before where they don't look good at the beginning of a series. And next thing you know, you can't put the fire out. I think it's big for Tampa. They've got to go in and win tonight because if they lose, they put so much pressure on themselves going into Montreal. You win tonight, you got 2 games up in Montreal starting Friday and, by the way, Monday, which is weird. They don't play this weekend at all. I think it's because they're trying not to compete with 4th of July festivities. So I get it from that marketing side of it. It's not a terrible idea. I get it. Cause I mean, I think about it. When I first saw it, I was like, what? We have to wait till Monday. And then I was like, would you be somewhere Sunday evening where you could watch the hockey game? Cause we're planning on going to a friend's house and they're just not hockey fans. Right. And I'm like, there's going to be like something stupid on the TV in the background. I don't know who does it nowadays, but the first thing I think of is like Dick Clark's, shooting off fireworks. I know he's been dead for 100 years, but that's what I think of when I think. So I'm like, I mean, we're watching the Stanley Cup on my phone. Good job, buddy. Good job. Put that on Monday night because I don't want to have to deal with that. But so whatever happens tonight, then you're going to have game 3, but game 1 in Montreal on Friday. And then you're going to have 2 days to kind of react to that, making lineup changes and whatnot before you hit game 4. So if they lose tonight, that's a lot of pressure because you could drop both of them in Montreal. What say you?
Yeah, it's a huge game for Tampa. And, anybody who watches hockey would be forgiven for saying, Tampa dominated them in game 1. We kind of, Montreal started slow in every series, even the Winnipeg series that they won in 4 games. They were down 2-0 in game 1. So I'm not worried about Montreal losing game 1. I would be very worried if they lose game 2 because I just don't see a scenario where they can win, 4 out of 5 games against what I think is nominally, the best team in hockey and has been the best team in hockey for most of the last 3 seasons. Big game tonight for Montreal, big game tonight for Tampa. I'm very excited to see the fans in the Bell Center. They petitioned the province to get up to 10,500 for games 3 and 4. That 10,500 is going to sound like, 500,000 to Tampa, if they go in there tied at 1. So, your point is spot on. It's a huge game for Tampa tonight. I actually like Montreal because they bounce back from losses well in every round in these playoffs. And they're plus 180 on the money line. So, I mean, not to jump ahead to against the spread, but, I think
let's go ahead and do that, man. That's totally my bad when I botched up the college football thing. I totally forgot.
No, you're good. Yeah, I mean, my ATS is Montreal tonight. They're plus 180 on the money line. And if you pair that with under 5 goals, you're getting another plus 105 on that. So if you're picking Montreal to win a 3-1 game or a 2-1 game, you're getting plus 285 in most books, which is, pretty good action. And I do like Montreal tonight. They have bounced back every time. I think they played well in game 1, honestly, until it got out of hand.
Or let me throw another option out at you. It's only minus 145 if you take Montreal plus 1.5 goals.
That's a good one too.
Which one are you more likely to do? Are you going to get greedy and go give me the plus 175? Or are you going to say, look, I don't know if they're going to win or not, but I don't think they're getting blown out.
I would do the spread. I would do the plus 1.5 because you can talk me into a scenario where Tampa wins this game, 4-3. So, it's just, again, Tampa's been the best team in hockey for 3 years. I think that's forgotten because they lost to Columbus in the first round in 2019, but they were the best team in hockey the year that St. Louis won the Stanley Cup. They won the President's Trophy and just had a horrible first round series against Columbus. Got kicked out, which happens, almost every year in the NHL playoffs. So, give me that. Give me the plus 1.5.
All right. My pick, look, I'm going to go baseball, but I think I'm going to go off the beaten path a little bit. I'm just looking at this, and I know the Cubs are in desperation mode. They got Arrieta going to the hill against Ashby of the Brewers, and the Cubs are getting on the 1.5 line. It's only minus 150. I kind of like that. So, for layman's terms, if you throw $7.50 down, you can win $5 as long as the Cubs stay within a run. So I think that's the pick I'm going with today. The other one that intrigues me, it's almost the same money line. And let's be honest engine, I'm taking all of these in real life. But Colorado at home with John Gray on the mound is minus 152 against the Pirates.
Who almost got no hit last night. Go Marquez.
The Pirates.
Yep.
So, yeah. Anytime you can bet against the Pirates, I take it.
It's a good idea.
I would also be very intrigued of taking the Rays to win in the Nationals Stadium tonight. It looks like it's going to be a bullpen game, but Lester's on the mound, so give me the Rays on that one too. I can think right now. I have no faith in Lester, man. He's put a fork in him. All right. But back to the NHL real quick. Where do you see this series? The next time we talk will be next Wednesday. And we would be heading into, I guess it would be game number 5.
Yep. Game 5 in Tampa.
In Tampa. First of all, is there a series next Wednesday? And then second of all, if there is it 2-2 or is someone up 3-1? And if so, who?
I hope it's 2-2. I wouldn't put money on it. So I'm going to tell you that that's probably a closeout game. I would think it's safe to say Tampa's probably up 3-1 or, has ended the series at that point. My pick before, all jokes aside, because I made a joke about Tampa touching the Prince of Wales trophy, which is quote unquote bad luck. But I mean, they did it last year and still won the cup. My pick before the series started was Lightning in 6. So I think we do have a game 5, but I would love to see an original 6 team hoist the Stanley Cup because outside of Boston's one title, it's been a while. But I just don't think it's going to be this year. Tampa is such a juggernaut. It's such a juggernaut.
By the way, they have changed the starting pitchers. It was Taijuan Walker going into today.
Peterson. Yeah, I caught it.
It's Peterson now. So that's advantage.
Go get Austin Riley on DraftKings. He's like 3,700. Boy, the last time he saw Peterson, he liked what he saw.
Right.
So,
okay. Let's go ahead and turn back time and get the hell on out of y'all. On another perfect edition of the Armchair Quarterbacks Radio Show, if I do say so myself. And I'm the only one who's going to, so yeah, sure. Okay. On this date, so we've talked about no-hitters quite a bit, right? On this date in 1962, Sandy Koufax becomes the first Dodger southpaw to throw a no-hitter since Knapp Rucker accomplished the feat in '08. When he keeps now here's the caveat. He did it to the expansion Mets, who were terrible. So I bet New York radio that next morning was like, what the hell, man? I mean, are we really calling this a no-hitter? The Mets are all-time bad, one of the worst teams in the history of all sports. Also on this date in history, 1908, and these were big deals. Cy Young becomes the oldest player to record a third career no hitter, and he no hits, or I'm sorry, he hits for the Highlanders. For the Highlanders, he no hits the Highlanders as a member of the Boston Red Sox. I butchered the hell out of that. Cy Young, Boston Red Sox, no hits the Highlanders. Are you familiar with the New York Highlanders?
I'm familiar with the hockey team. No, not the hockey team.
The New York Highlanders was the pre-name of the New York Yankees. They became the
Oh,
Yankees.
okay.
I want to say
I don't think I knew that.
1913, 1914, something like that is when they eventually, because how a lot of this stuff came about, by the way, including the Cleveland Indians that everyone's wanting to change now, it came from sports writers. And so the Highlanders had been referred to as the Yanks and the Yankees by a couple of sports writers over the next few years, and eventually they just took on that moniker and that term. They were originally called the Highlanders because they played up on a high land in Manhattan that was a park, eventually becomes a part of Central Park, okay? That's why they were called the Highlanders, but eventually they became the Yankees by the time Babe Ruth and what I want to say is 1913-ish is when that changed. So the Indians,
I'd never heard that before.
The Indians, the reason why they became the name of the Indians, I don't know if you're familiar with this, was because at the time of before that, they were called the Naps for Nap La Joy. They were also called the Spiders at one point.
Spiders, I know.
Their star player, Chief, his name's slipping my mind right now, ended up being on the Hall of Fame, but was a full-blooded Indian, and he was their best player at the time, so they started calling the Cleveland Indians the Indians. So that one actually does have racist overtones. But one of the things that Cleveland Indian historians are upset about is like when you change the name, you're going to forget about his legacy. So fair enough. Birthdays.
It's your birthday today.
Happy birthday, or should I say happy birthday, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson. He is, wow, is he really?
Like 60 something, right?
Mike Tyson was born in 1966, so he would be what, 55 years old?
55. That's it. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, 55. I knew he could be in the 60s because he was fairly young when he was knocking folks out in the 80s. So, and that includes his wife that everyone wants to forget about. They all want to celebrate this guy. Oh, he's so great and blah blah blah, but they don't overlook the fact that he beat the crap out of Robin Givens, and oh, by the way, raped at least one girl.
Right.
But
let's cancel everybody else.
Yeah, but other than that, let's
cancel Chauncey Billups though for something that was never.
Don't worry about that. Let's go see his show. He's a great guy.
Right. Exactly.
Every time I see that meme on Twitter or something like that, where they're quoting Tyson about people blah 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 are too brave on social media these days because there's no fear of getting punched in the mouth, and everyone's like jockking Mike Tyson over it.
Right.
Every time I see that one, the first thing that comes to my mind is, you simp, you're just gurgling him up, aren't you? You oh, he's so great. He beat the hell out of a woman when he was the heavyweight champion of the world. That's
bootlickers.
The epitome of a lowlife.
Bootlickers, all of them. Bootlickers.
And every one of them, oh, you wouldn't say that to him. Yeah, actually, I would, because I wouldn't mind getting a hell of a payday. If you think I ain't gonna
bootlickers,
that's gonna be the first fight in my life where I'm not swinging back. Because I'm like, hit me, baby, let's go. I might be doing the show from now on out of a straw, but I'll take that lick. Good news, wife. We're set for life. Like, great. We're gonna spend it on your medical expenses. Oh, what's your walk off?
My walk off is a congratulations to Connor McDavid. It would be most people would be excused for not noticing that the NHL announced their awards yesterday, but me as a huge NHL head was definitely paying attention. Won the Hart Memorial Trophy as the most valuable player of the league. It is a regular season award. I love always seeing people go, he's not playing in the playoffs. It's a regular season award. Knock it off. He's the first unanimous Hart Trophy winner since Wayne Gretzky in 81-82. And very deserving, was by far the best player in hockey this year in the regular season. Also won the Ted Lindsay Award for most outstanding player. The other awards, Adam Fox of the New York Rangers, best defenseman, the Norris Trophy, Marc-Andre Fleury, the Vezina for best goaltender, which, he was already in the Hall of Fame, but certainly puts him in. And the Calder Trophy went to Kirill Kaprizov, young left winger for the Minnesota Wild. So congratulations all, but Connor McDavid, unanimous, an unbelievable season that is unfortunately going to be forgotten even by the fans in Edmonton because they got knocked out in the first round by Winnipeg. So
they do that they do that same thing in the NBA.
Yeah, right in the middle of the playoffs, just announce them and no fanfare.
Oh, dude, try
really kind of
MVP.
Yeah, it kind of minimizes them. Yeah, in my opinion, I've never understood why they do it that way. I like the way baseball does it better.
Yeah, it's either that or go ahead and announce it before the playoffs even begin. Right.
Right. Yeah,
that's
the other option.
Electronically, right? We're not on snail mail anymore.
Absolutely.
It's so stupid. Yeah, it's like, why announce it in the middle of it? Because exactly because your average fan goes, that's stupid, he's not even playing anymore. Can't give that to the Joker. He doesn't believe the NBA championship material. It's a regular season trophy there, guy. A good friend of the show that does a daily sports show, I had to correct him on that a few weeks ago. He was still trying to predict, and I was like, dude, I put an inbox. Dude, I don't want to call you on your junk, but you do know that they vote on this before the season before the playoffs ever begin, right?
Right. And it's done at the end of the season.
And then when he finally responded to me, his top hat and cane, I goes, oh yeah, I knew that, but I was like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Canner.
My walk-off is Wimbledon. I've actually been watching quite a bit of it. I was watching that Serena thing. I think no matter what her injury was, she played into the crowd like she normally does. She's very dramatic and, look at me kind of thing. And I have to make sure that I cry and everything. So honestly, I'm not disappointed that she's gone because now we get to watch tennis. We don't have to listen to Osaka, blubber on about how she shouldn't have to talk to the media. But I did find it interesting. No one said boo about Serena not talking to the media yesterday. So I'm like, yeah.
Super interesting.
Is there a double standard? What the hell's going on here? Djokovic, by the way, is playing right now if you want to turn on some fun stuff. We got Braves Country coming on the way. And, of course, take me out to the ball game. Great job, Sean. Have a great 4th of July weekend. We'll see you next Wednesday. Tomorrow, Joey Areola and Dan Orlovsky talk the Indianapolis Colts. We'll see ya.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk live from the First Coast.